it's time to tackle your own development in a very thoughtful, strategic way. You know because of changes in your company or in your industry. You know because you got promoted, you lost your job, you got a new job, you got looked over for promotion, you got a new assignment, or you want a new assignment. You know because of that nagging feeling inside. Whatever the prompt, you know it's time to attend to your own development. The question is how? How are you going to do it? I'm going to provide 7 steps for deep dive development. Before you can take the steps, it's important to do the reflective work, to decide why you want to go deep. Allow yourself quiet time for thought, prayer, meditation, chanting, whatever you do to get centered. Give thought to your growth, your evolution, your goals. This reflective work will also surface your core values. They're going to be your compass in this development and beyond. So let's get started with the first of the 7 steps. Number 1, learn. Deep dive development requires learning new skills, new competencies. Your reflection probably revealed what you want to learn more about and what you need to learn more about. The things you want to learn about will satisfy your intellectual curiosity. They'll stimulate some creativity. They may even offer you opportunities to awaken dormant dreams. The things you need to learn about may help you survive and thrive in your current career. They may help you prepare for your next move. The need to learn and the desire to learn are both important. They both provide you with more building blocks in your developmental foundation. Number 2, apply. What is the purpose of learning if you don't apply what you've learned? How are you going to develop mastery if you're not actively applying the new knowledge? I am of the opinion that knowledge really is not power. Knowledge put to use, knowledge in action is power. Otherwise, it's simply knowledge, no more, no less. So you have to apply what you're learning. If you decide to learn a new language, you have to practice it. Go to a restaurant where the language is spoken. Chat with the waiters. Volunteer in communities where you'll have the opportunity to refine your new language. Create opportunities for practice if they're not readily available. Number 3, reflect. I'm really big on reflection. It moves us from autopilot to purposeful action. Before you started taking the 7 steps, I asked you to reflect. Now I want you to reflect on what you've learned, how you've been applying it, and what you're gaining in the application process. This is the reflection that helps you determine where you need to go deeper in both learning and application. It helps you gauge your comfort with the beginning of your deep dive development. Number 4, modify. You've invested time in reflection, and it does take time. It's not about 15 minutes on your morning commute. That's not sufficient for deep reflection. Once you've gone deep in your reflections, you can move to modification. What I mean is that you'll tinker with, you'll refine how you're applying what you're learning. If you've been focusing on learning new conflict management skills, your modification may include something like refining your ability to process other perspectives before responding. If you've been focusing on building your emotional intelligence, you may modify the ways in which you're cultivating new relationships. Maybe you're learning that relationships need to have a mutual benefit. You get my point. You'll be working on modifying how you're applying the learning that you decided to do in the beginning. Number 5 is evaluate. You've been learning, applying, and modifying. This is an iterative process. You'll go back and forth between the steps that we've covered. And now it's time for some evaluation. I want you to evaluate whether or not you feel like you're on track in your development. Are you making the progress through your learning, through your application that you intended to make? Are you maintaining interest in the areas you selected for learning? Is the application harder than you thought? Is it more challenging than you anticipated? I think of evaluation as my own reality check. Are things going the way I want them to go, the way I need them to go? Is the growth that I've been targeting happening? Evaluation is a turning point. You may decide to change your developmental focus. You may decide that you need to deepen connections in your network to keep progressing. Who knows what you'll discover by evaluating? Just be sure that you're being straight with yourself and not falling into the comfort of delusion. Up next, integrate. You've been digging deep in your development, mastering new skills and competencies. Now they're becoming second nature, or you're working so that they can become second nature. You get to the point of full mastery by integrating your competencies in everything that you do. And that's a tough call because it's easy to slip back into old patterns, especially if we're stressed. The question of how to fully integrate may be running through your mind. You fully integrate by exploring the subject that's piqued your curiosity from different angles. You can really deepen your knowledge, your competence, and your confidence when you understand the nuances of concepts, when you know what disbelievers and contrarians are saying. Understand that integration requires practice, of course, but it's a never-ending curiosity. It's also conscious, intentional, and endless attention to application. And I mean applying the concepts in every possible, plausible context, everywhere in your life. That's how you get to integration. So number 7, this is the last one. Learn more. This takes us right back to the first step in the process. Learn, keep learning, learn more. Start teaching what you've learned. I don't mean formal classroom lectures. I mean passing the knowledge, the concepts, the ideas around to people in your organization, your community, even your family. You learn more through the very act of teaching. You learn from the questions that other people pose. You learn more by preparing to share what you know. The teaching enables you to delve so much deeper into your own development. Use a lot of different methods to deepen your knowledge. Read, listen to podcasts, watch videos, attend workshops, join groups that have the same interests that you have, connect with experts in the field. You know, this list of learning opportunities, it's endless. The constant learning is how you're going to integrate the new concepts into your leadership and into your life. The point is this: full integration of the competencies that you're focused on. Full integration requires being a lifelong learner. I know that phrase is overused, it gets on my nerves, but it really does apply here. Let me summarize with a quick review. Deep dive development doesn't happen by accident. It's very intentional. It's purposeful. You may do it for career development. You may do it for career growth. You may do it for personal development and personal satisfaction. You may do it just to kind of satisfy your intellectual curiosity. Whatever the reason, the 7 steps are a great framework. Learn, apply, reflect, modify, evaluate, integrate. Understand it's a cycle, it's not a straight path. You'll keep going back and forth between the developmental stages because that's how we learn and grow. That's how we develop. You know, if this is something that's really interesting to you, if this is a topic that piques your curiosity, there is a detailed article on it titled Deep Dive Development that's on the Smikle Speaks website. There is also a podcast on the Smikle Speaks podcast channel. Use these 7 steps to continue to soar.